closest fight to win or to lose. Barbosa also has serious durability issues at 40%, and his cardio isn't that great anymore either. His long layoff is also contributing to my pick, which is close via decision.
Cards now, here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. All 3 judges scored this contest 29-28 for the winner by unanimous decision, Daukaus.
We smashed again. The underdogs cash. Tim Elliott came through with a submission win over Asakura, and Lerone Murphy proved once again that the best fighters are in the UFC. Subscribers continue to dial it in, placing sharp bets and making it rain. We were the 5th most profitable YouTube channel and the 3rd most profitable channel, picking the winner and the method of victory. Now we go across the globe for an early morning card in China. Mingyang Zhang is on a 12-fight win streak and looking to take the number 13 rank from the always entertaining Johnny Walker. Wrestling phenom Aljamain Sterling returns to the octagon to face submission specialist Brian Ortega. Sergey Pavlovich looks to fend off Waldo Cortes-Acosta, who's on a 5-fight win streak. Michelle Pereira welcomes back Kyle Daukaus to the UFC. Taylaki Nueraji and Kiefer Crosbie won't be needing the judges, and the homie Charles Energy Johnson faces Loner Kavanagh for a potential fight of the night. It's UFC Shanghai, Walker versus Zhang on Fight IQ with Vaughn. First up, we have a light heavyweight fight between Satybaldiev and Nurgozhay.
So why I can't even pronounce half this shit.
Both fighters are 0-1 in the UFC. Satybaldiev is the favorite at -185 with a win probability of 64.9%. The win probability calculator has Nurgozhay as the favorite at -122 with a true win probability of 54.9%. The AI Fight Simulator picks Satybaldiev to win 60% of the time, 45% via decision, although Nurgozhay has a 30% chance to win via decision. Satybaldiev is coming off a respectable loss to Martin Buday in the heavyweight division, and Buday is a crafty UFC veteran whose only loss is to number 11 Shamil Gaziev. Satybaldiev replaced Kennedy Nzechukwu just days before that fight, and he still took Buday to a decision. Nurgozhay, on the other hand, came in 4.5 pounds overweight, then proceeded to lose via Kimura in the 2nd round. Satybaldiev is a tough dude, and he'll have a 5-inch reach advantage over Nurgozhay. Nurgozhay beat a bunch of nobodies and has-beens, but losing to Brenton Ribeiro is nasty work. Satybaldiev should be able to get this one done inside the distance. My pick is Satybaldiev via KO round 2. Next, we have a bantamweight fight between Su Young Yu and Xiao Long. Long is coming off a sensational knockout win over Kwang Lee, while Yu is coming off a 4-fight win streak. Yu is the favorite at -135 with a win probability of 57.4%. The win probability calculator has Yu as the favorite at -175 with a true win probability of 63.7%. The AI Fight Simulator picks Xiao Long to win 70% of the time, 50% via decision. Fighting out of Shanghai, Long is a talented fighter who's lost a close split decision against Chang Ho Lee in an exciting fight. Su Young Yu is primarily a wrestler and looks to grapple and control. He has very low volume, but his top control can be smothering. And we just witnessed the all-time Smotherfest last week, so I'm not sure I want to watch another one. No offense to Demetrius Johnson. Long has extensive fight experience, and fighting at home for the UFC is a rare event in China. I expect the Chinese to be out in full force to support their hometown boy, but neither of these fighters have prolific finishes. I think Long will need to use his height and his 5-inch reach advantage to keep Yu out of wrestling range. My pick is Xiao Long via decision. Next up is Yizha versus Weston Wilson. Yizha is coming off a loss for his UFC debut against Gabriel Santos, while Wilson got his first win in the UFC against Jeka Saragi. Yizha is the crazy favorite at minus 1200 with a win probability of 92.3%. The win probability calculator has Yizha as the favorite at minus 323 with a true win probability of 76.3%. The AI Fight Simulator picks Yizha to win 70% of the time, 40% via decision. Weston Wilson does have a 25% chance to win via submission as his only realistic path to victory. Another fighter out of Shanghai, Yizha is looking to show Dana White that he can also hang in the UFC. Weston Wilson could be extremely underrated. He was fed to Joe Anderson Brito for his UFC debut, which he took on 1 week's notice. Then he was fed to Gene Silva on Gene Silva's UFC debut. But he does have a 99% finish rate and the ability to execute as exemplified against Saragi. Yizha started his martial arts career primarily as a striker, but he does like to grapple as well, securing 14 wins via submission. Wilson is a BJJ black belt, and maybe one of those limbs that Yizha throws out could be there for the taking, but Wilson also has 4 losses via submission, so this could be a problem for him as well. As before, I expect the Chinese to be out in full force to support their hometown fighter. My pick is Yizha via TKO round 2. Up next is the always entertaining Michel Pereira versus late replacement Kyle Daukaus. UFC is an organization of second chances unless your name is Muhammad Mokaev. Pereira is the favorite at minus 258 with a win probability of 72.1%. The win probability calculator has Pereira as the favorite at minus 127 with a true win probability of 55.9%. The AI Fight Simulator picks Pereira to win 75% of the time, 40% via KO. Pereira is on a 2-fight losing streak, and the UFC is offering up Kyle Daukaus as fodder to get him back on track. But the fact that Daukaus opened up as a moderate underdog instead of a heavy underdog should be concerning for Pereira. Daukaus is coming off a huge layoff and hasn't fought in the UFC since 2022. At 31, Pereira should be at or near his peak, but the wear and tear on this guy is ridiculous and his gas tank is absolute crap. The easy formula is to take Pereira down and to control him, which Daukaus is fully capable of, but I'm not sure what he's got in the gas tank either. Short notice and long layoffs are usually a recipe for disaster inside the octagon, and Pereira desperately needs a win to keep his job. I'm not going to get cute with this pick. My pick is Pereira via KO. Next up, we have a lightweight bout between Rongzhu and Austin Hubbard. Rongzhu is coming off a win against Cody Steele, and Austin Hubbard may be fighting for his last fight in the UFC. Rongzhu is the favorite at minus 278 with a win probability of 73.5%. The win probability calculator has Rongzhu as the favorite at minus 165 with a true win probability of 62.2%. The AI Fight Simulator picks Rongzhu to win 65% of the time, 30% via KO. Austin Hubbard does have a 25% chance of winning this fight via decision, really as his only path to victory. Hubbard's latest stint with the UFC is going worse than his first stint at the UFC. He's a decent fighter, but he's not really UFC caliber. Rongzhu has faced a lot of regional fighters, but he has had difficulty when it's come to UFC caliber fighters. Rongzhu will need to prove to the UFC brass that he belongs in the UFC by securing back-to-back wins. Lucky for Rongzhu, Hubbard does not present a finished threat. And lucky for Hubbard, Rongzhu has been submitted 4 times. The problem is that Hubbard just doesn't have the fight IQ to identify this weakness, and he doesn't have the skill to exploit it. I think that Hubbard is getting cut Monday. My pick is Rongzhu via decision. This next fight is a certified banger between Loner Kavanagh and Charles Johnson. Kavanagh will put his undefeated record on the line as he takes a huge step up in competition. He is the favorite at minus 205 with a win probability of 67.2%. The win probability calculator has Kavanagh as the favorite at minus 133 with a true win probability of 57.1%. The AI Fight Simulator picks Johnson to win 70% of the time, 60% via decision. This is Charles Johnson's fight to win or to lose. He's the veteran, he's the Olympian, and he's the dominant wrestler with a 3-inch reach advantage. Kavanagh's a decent striker, but a bit wet behind the ears in this fight game. He'll be relying on his wrestling base, his youth, and his athleticism, but his wrestling could be neutralized by Johnson. Johnson is too much for anyone to hold down and control, and Joshua Van found out just how good his hands are. This fight is definitely going to a decision. In my opinion, I think that Johnson's going to have to rely on his fight IQ, his experience, his reach advantage, and his high strike output to stamp a unanimous win. My pick, Johnson via decision. Next, we have the featured prelim between Gage Zhang and Maheshate Hayaseir. Young lost his debut fight against Evan Elder, which Young took on a week's notice. Maheshate lost 3 of his last 4 inside the octagon. Young is the favorite at -130 with a win probability of 56.5%. The win probability calculator has Young as the slight favorite at -104 with a true win probability of 50.9%. The AI Fight Simulator picks Maheshate to win 65% of the time, 45% via decision. This is going to be a pure striking match, and Young has the tools to knock Maheshate out. The simulator is heavily relying on home field advantage, and Young could experience jet lag issues if he hasn't acclimated properly. Had this fight been on US soil, I think the sim would give the edge to Young. Maheshate is horrible against strikers. His last good showing was in 2022 versus Steve Garcia. I just have this feeling that Young is probably going to get robbed in China when it comes to decision. But I think that Gage still is going to get it done. My pick, my gut just won't let this go. I'm going to take Young via decision. Opening up the main card is an interesting fight between Taeyilaki, Nueraji, and Kiefer Crosbie.
So why I can't even pronounce half this shit.
This is the second funny hat fighter on the roster. Nueraji is on a 5-fight win streak, mopping up the regional scene. He'll be making his UFC debut against Crosbie, who's 0-2 in the UFC. Nueraji is the favorite at -355 with a win probability of 78%. The win probability calculator has Nueraji as the favorite at -240 with a true win probability of 70.6%. The AI Fight Simulator picks Crosbie to win 55% of the time, 45% via KO. The simulator gives Nueraji a 40% chance to win via KO as well. Someone's lights are going to get shut off. Both of these fighters are coming off massive layoffs, so conditioning and cardio is going to be a factor. Nueraji throws a lot of volume, but his strike accuracy is sub 50%, and he absorbs a lot of strikes as well. He relies on his toughness, taking a punch to give a punch, and his reach advantage is at 6 inches. But Crosbie will land. At 64% accuracy rate, it's going to come down at power versus skill. And with a 91% KO rate, it's hard to argue that Nueraji is not the harder puncher. I hate debut fighters, and the fighters that Nueraji has fought are just a complete cant. He's fought 4 of them, almost back to back, and he's also the late replacement fighter. Crosbie's Achilles heel looks to be his grappling, but he should be free to be able to throw hands on Saturday morning against Nueraji. My pick is going to be Crosbie via KO. Next up is another fight of the night contender between Sumudaerji versus Kevin Borjas. The Tibetan Eagle has struggled in the UFC, but he did get a win against Mitch Raposo, albeit it was via split decision. The Peruvian Borjas is coming off a great win over the overhyped Ronaldo Rodriguez. Sumudaerji is the favorite at -142 with a win probability of 58.7%. The win probability calculator has Sumudaerji as the favorite at -217 with a true win probability of 68.5%. The AI Fight Simulator picks Sumudaerji to win 75% of the time, 50% via KO. I don't know what's going on, but I feel like my gut has been disagreeing with the simulator today. taking Mitch Raposo to a split decision has got me swinging red flags all day long, and I'm really not impressed with Sumudaerji's body of work. But I do think that this will be a good test for Borjas. These Peruvian fighters are dogs, and dogs always win a dogfight. But Borjas takes a lot of strikes, more than he gives, and Sumudaerji dominates him in just about every metric. I do believe that fighting at home will be the difference maker for this fight, and this could be Borjas' first fight in Asia. I've been wavering back and forth on this one, but ultimately I can't go against the win probability calculator and the fight simulator when they're in conjunction. My pick is Sumudaerji by decision. Next up, the big boys bang. Sergey Pavlovich takes on Waldo Cortes-Acosta in what could be a title eliminator fight. Pavlovich is coming off a win against Jairzinho Rozenstruik, while Cortes-Acosta has managed to put together a nice 5-fight win streak. Pavlovich is the favorite at minus 245 with a win probability of 71%. The win probability calculator has Pavlovich winning as a favorite at minus 120 with a true win probability of 54.6%. The AI Fight Simulator picks Pavlovich to win 55% of the time, 45% via KO. But what happens if Pavlovich can't knock Cortes-Acosta out? Does he still have a chance to win by decision? According to the Fight Simulator, Cortes-Acosta has the best chance of winning a decision at 35%. And Cortes-Acosta has never been knocked out. Smart opponents have figured out the best way to attack him, and that's by kicking his legs. But Pavlovich isn't much of a kicker. He landed 2 against Biggie Boy, 1 against Volkov, none against Aspinall, none against Blades, none against Tuivasa. You see a pattern here? In fact, this will be the first time Cortes-Acosta faces a striker who doesn't throw leg kicks. Cortes-Acosta works both the legs and the body, and he mixes up his strikes really well. Salsa Boy has momentum, and the Dominicans are really savage boxers. I think people are in for a surprise. Pavlovich won't be able to knock Cortes-Acosta out, and he's going to find himself gassed in mid-second round. My pick, Cortes-Acosta by decision. Next, we have the co-main event between Aljamain Sterling and Brian Ortega. Both fighters are coming off losses, but Ortega's recent stretch is concerning, losing 4 of his last 6 fights. Sterling is the favorite at minus 310 with a win probability of 75.6%. The win probability calculator has Sterling as the favorite at minus 257 with a true win probability of 71.9%. The AI Fight Simulator picks Sterling to win 75% of the time, 50% via decision. Some of Ortega's losses are forgivable. He took on Lopez on late notice and at a different weight class. He injured his shoulder during the first Jair fight, but then he redeemed that loss. And then he lost to 2 former champs in Volkanovski and Max Holloway. Sterling is a former champ, albeit via disqualification, but there is a disparity between Sterling's striking and Ortega's. Sterling's wrestling should be good enough to prevent a submission, which is really Ortega's main path to victory. But Ortega can turn on a switch real fast, and he can wrap Aljamain's neck in a hot second if Sterling is not paying attention. And Sterling has had lapses of judgment inside the octagon. Neither fighter are KO artists, so it's either going to be a submission win for Ortega or a decision win for Sterling. And Sterling has never been submitted, but Ortega said that he brought in a boxing coach to help improve his striking. I just don't think that Ortega can win a striking contest against Sterling. My pick is Sterling via decision. Last but not least is the main event between Mingyang Zhang and Johnny Walker. Zhang hasn't lost a fight since 2020, going on an impressive 12-fight win streak. Walker is coming off 2 losses and a no contest. Zhang is the favorite at minus 375 with a win probability of 78.9%. The win probability calculator has Zhang as the favorite at minus 170 with a true win probability of 58.2%. The AI Fight Simulator picks Zhang to win 65% of the time, 40% via KO. Walker's fight IQ is low. It's like Priscilla Cachoeira low. He'll need to utilize some of his brother's grappling to keep Zhang at bay. Zhang's 10.91 strikes landed per minute is no fluke or a statistical outlier. This dude throws volume. And he's accurate. At 64% accurate rate, he's definitely going to find Walker's chin. And Walker suffers from a 44.5% durability rating, getting knocked out 6 times. Worse than that, he's coming off back-to-back knockout losses. But Walker's number one priority is surviving that first round. Zhang hasn't seen a second round since 2018. In fact, Zhang has only seen a second round 3 times in his career. My pick is Zhang via KO. If you enjoy this content, please hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you for watching. We out.